ESPN reports that Gennady Golovkin got $15 million to face Steve Rolls. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, ESPN just reported, Dan Rafael, purses for the Triple G versus Steve Rolls card. Gennady Golovkin's purse is listed as a laughable $2 million. He's getting closer to $15 million. Steve Rolls got $300K, and then the rest is as follows on the screen. Now, the funny thing is, with old media, people like Dan Rafael, it's almost like he's bragging about another man's money. Just not that he listed the purses, because, you know, I do that. We all do, like, talk about purses. But it says his money is listed at a laughable $2 million. Why is $2 million laughable? So, you know, it leads me to believe that he is in the know, and, you know, he's talked to some of the people behind the scenes, and they gave him the real scoop. You know, if it's so laughable, you know, $2 million, like, oh, how you believe he really got $2 million? That's not really, that's $2 million is good. The average fighter don't get $2 million for a fight, and nobody wanted to see the Steve Rolls fight. So it's almost like he's bragging about someone else's money. But nonetheless, it was a much, you know, expected outcome. Steve Rolls was a 168-pounder fighting at a catch weight. Golovkin was getting touched up in round 2 and some of round 3. Steve Rolls looked terrified when he was walking out, like he was just trying to hold it all in. When he started fighting very jittery and skittish in round 1, and then he had like a fight or flight moment in round 2, and then, you know, hyped himself up. But the thing is, he couldn't sustain that. And I told you, I mean, it was an easy outcome to prophesy, but that's where experience plays a part. But Golovkin did get hit more than you would think, based on, you know, having a new coach and saying I feel refreshed and rejuvenated and that kind of thing, and having the silver medal and experience. So I feel like the walls are closing in for Golovkin. People are starting to see what I've always said. Gennady Golovkin has openly stated now that he doesn't want to revisit the Jacobs fight. You know, he said he wants new fighters, but he keeps bringing up Canelo, which he's already had 24 rounds with Canelo and only 12 with Jacobs. So that makes no fucking sense. Then he, you know, shut down notions of fighting Andrade and Charlo, and I think he said they should fight each other. I mean, it's just laughable at this point. Now, back to the title of the video, the $15 million. That is from ESPN, which, you know, they have inside scoops and sources. To me, I have no idea what DAZN is doing with the pay scale. I'm not saying this from a position of hating on anybody for getting money. Props, good on Golovkin for getting 15 million. But to me, I don't really see how that would be sustainable from a business. All these legendary payouts for, you know, Canelo and Jacobs, no pay-per-view, because, you know, DAZN came out saying pay-per-view is dead. And, you know, I really think that DAZN, they came out with a really weird business model, and maybe in over their head, where they thought they were coming in as the Netflix of boxing, or whatever they said, and pay-per-view was dead. And with the absence of HBO boxing, you know, with maybe some of the promises from Eddie Hearn, they expected more to be delivered. You know, they thought Eddie Hearn would be able to get all these guys from Al Heyman. You know, maybe he told, I don't know what was discussed, but this is just my perception. All these guys that are free agents and only have an advisor, they thought, you know, the money being thrown at them, these guys would just be rushing. But the fact is, the big Al Heyman stars that you could see on pay-per-view, or that we have seen on pay-per-view, none of them really went to DAZN. You know, the only people that they got were people like Jesse Vargas, coming off of a draw with Adrian Broner, and then he fought Thomas Delorme and had another draw. You know, guys like that. Brandon Rios, who Danny Garcia had knocked out. They were getting fighters like that, you know, maybe coming off draws or losses. As far as the Al Heyman fighters, you know, They did get Daniel Jacobs because his HBO contract ended, and they delivered him a Canelo fight. But then now he lost, and now he's talking about moving up. So, I don't know. I don't see the business model. I can understand what they were like hoping to accomplish, but it just seems weird with these payouts. Like, you're paying Golovkin $15 million. His fight is nowhere near a sellout. Nobody knows Steve Rolls. He's not challenging himself, and that's the thing that's kind of bothersome as a boxing fan. So again, I'm not hating on another man getting paid. That's cool. These fighters risk their life. They should get paid good money. But I think DAZN's, as I understand it, the payout scale, they don't really incentivize fighters to even take risks if it's a more of a salary versus an hourly type of payout structure, like where it's kind of predetermined. Hey, you're gonna get somewhere between, this and this, and if it does really good and exceeds like streaming records, then you'll get even more. But if Golovkin knows he's gonna get $15 million to fight Steve Rolls, as ESPN is reporting, right, then why should he fight someone better than Steve Rolls? Why should he take a more difficult comeback fight, coming off a little bit of a 9-month layoff or so? And it's just sad because Errol Spence had a 9-month layoff. He came back and fought against Kell Brook for a title because that's what he had been pushing for, a title shot. Golovkin comes back. He claims he beat Canelo, and he's coming off of a 9-month layoff, and his comeback opponent in the same division, being a unified champion previously, claiming he beat Canelo, is Steve Rolls. And then now to find out that ESPN is reporting DAZN paid him $15 million. It doesn't sound reasonable unless this is like a money laundering, they washing money or something. It just doesn't seem financially stable to pay someone $15 million for a fight like that. Just look at it. If Steve Rolls and Golovkin was on HBO, it would probably still do abysmal numbers, and they had been in the business for 45 years. So imagine if they put it on pay-per-view, it would go double wood. It would be horrible. But at least with the pay-per-view infrastructure is you could get per unit, you're getting $60 to $75 typically in America, depending on if it's SD or HD. So if you sell like a $60 pay-per-view, sell two, you already at 120, double that, 240, etc. So it adds up a lot quicker. DAZN, you either have to buy an annual package that allows you to watch it for the whole year, or $9.99 to $19.99, and they even raised the price. It was supposed to be $9.99. It was supposed to have a 30-day trial, and in other countries they still have the 30-day trial, but in America they took away the 30-day trial. Just really weird business model. In addition, I don't feel like they've done a good job for the promoting of the fight. Like the Steve Rolls fight was just kind of here, and it didn't even feel like a fight week. I know they have, a behind-the-scenes show, I guess they did with Mark Wahlberg, but they keep getting these extravagant Meat Mills and Mark Wahlberg and, John Stamos and different people to produce these specials, but it doesn't look like it's generating and translating into anticipation for some of these events. They're on record, Eddie Hearn, who works with them, saying that his fight with Joshua and Ruiz is the third highest ranked fight that's been on DAZN since they released in America, and that's behind both Canelo fights. So there's no way that if those are the top 3 fights based on the crowd, based on the energy, based on the fight week, there's absolutely no way Triple G versus Steve Rolls beat any of those fights in terms of, traction. So DAZN's gonna have to figure out a way to get the audience, them to pay attention, and then to keep them there. And I told you they should have made him fight Andrade. Then you would have had a fight with Canelo and Jacobs, and then you would have had June 1st Joshua Ruiz, which turned out to be an upset, and then you would have had Andrade versus Triple G for a title, and then the winner could fight Canelo, and they would have the WBO belt, the only belt Canelo's missing. So again, that's just my 2 cents. I just don't see how that type of payouts are going to last. They're going to either have to, you know, get more money or start forcing their fighters into tougher fights, because I don't see how a Steve Rolls fight, under no circumstance, if that was a Showtime or HBO fight, would he be getting $15 million for that level of opposition. And, you know, it's not even a fight like Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, where some people thought it was a circus or a fight that shouldn't happen, but we knew it would sell based on the charismatic personalities of the fighter. Steve Rolls, I didn't know anything about him. Conor McGregor, we at least, you know, had the press tour, and that was exciting and hell of a build up and stuff like that. You have two basically boring personalities that don't really go out of their way to sell fights, and then DAZN doesn't go above and beyond to promote it, and then you're paying them $15 million according to ESPN. I just don't see how that's a formula for success, more like a formula for disaster. That's just my honest thoughts. Drop your thoughts in the questions in the comment section. Let me know if you think $15 million for the Steve Rolls fight is reasonable and sustainable. And let me know what you want next with Triple G, since he only seems to be targeting Canelo and all the black fighters. He said he doesn't want to fight Jacobs, Andrade, Charlo. So let me know who he should fight at the middleweight division. You know, I don't really even want to see the Canelo fight. Even a Billy Joe Saunders fight would be good. You know, I would like that. Caleb Smith, Billy Joe, just something new. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think of the $15 million payout and DAZN's pay scale. We work. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.